What's going on, everybody? Welcome into episode 118 of the MudWatch Sports Podcast on this Tuesday, October 28th, 2025. I'm your host, Zach Malum. But before we get started, please subscribe below. Follow all of my social accounts. Let's start things off in the world of football as both of your teams were in action this week. And we'll start things out in Cincinnati as the New York Jets took on the Cincinnati Bengals on Sunday afternoon. And the Jets, who entered the fourth quarter down 15 points, they come all the way back and win it in dramatic fashion, 39-38 the final, after Breece Hall out of the backfield finds Mason Taylor in the back of the end zone, gets the feet down, gives the Jets a 1-point lead. But it was not over then and there, as the Bengals had the last chance in this game. They turn it over on downs. The Jets get a big-time stop on defense, and they win it 39-38 the final, like I said. And Breece Hall was the big story in the fourth quarter. All the noise during the week, whether he was going to get traded or not, if the Jets fall to 0-8, what's going to happen with Breece? Are they going to deal him to a contender? And he proved that he is still the dude. He had 2 rushing touchdowns followed by that passing touchdown, the first of his career, by the way. 3 consecutive drives of Breece Hall to win the game 39-38. It was a crazy day to be a Jets fan, as earlier in the day, the Jets lost one of their all-time greats in Nick Mangold, who died at the age of 41 due to kidney complications. The Jets end up getting a win about 45 minutes from where Nick Mangold grew up in Southwest Ohio. You had to think that Nick Mangold had something to do with the Jets and their miraculous comeback to get their first win of the season. So a long day in the end, but the Jets find a way to win, and that's exactly what you wanted to see from this Jets team heading into the fourth quarter. Just some fight, and the guy that deserves a lot of credit besides Breece Hall is one Justin Fields, who came into this game really because Tyrod Taylor could not play this week. I think in the end, if Tyrod Taylor was healthy, he would be the starting quarterback. Justin Fields took that as a sign, took that as a message, and really went with it. He goes 21 of 32 for 244 passing and a touchdown. He also had 11 carries for 31 yards, but did not turn the ball over. And I think that was really the difference in the game for this Jets offense. No turnovers on the day, but also their work on the ground was tremendous in the end. 254 rushing yards that really gave them the win in the end. They also were tremendous on third and fourth down. They got the job done when they needed to, but 254 rushing yards is a massive sign for this Jets offense. If they continue to do that every single game, it could be a dangerous sight for opponents. 502 total yards of offense. I mean, you never see that from this Jets team, especially in a game on the road, tough environment. Cincinnati's really not that bad of a team. Yes, their defense is a disaster waiting to happen, but their offense really loves to put up points, and they put up points very easily with all their star power, and the Jets keep up with them in this game. Like I mentioned, it came down to third and fourth down. They also have great work on the ground, and they end up winning the game in dramatic fashion, 39-38. So everybody's happy heading into the bye week now as the Jets head into their week 9 bye, and they get a break after a crazy game in Cincinnati. But the Jets end up getting their first win of the season, 39-38 the final, and the Jets move to 1-7. Let's shift things down to Philadelphia as the New York Giants were also in action this weekend. They were taking on the Eagles at the Link, and the Giants end up losing this one 38-20 to fall to 2-6 on the year. But the big story in this one was midway through the second quarter. Cam Skattebo, the star running back for the Giants, goes down with a dislocated ankle, a gruesome injury that ends his 2025 season. A monster loss for this Giants offense and this Giants team overall that still felt like they had a chance to make a playoff push just a couple of weeks ago, but back-to-back losses, a heartbreaker in Denver. You lose Skattebo and get dominated by the Eagles in Philly, and it's really looking unlikely that the Giants have a great season in the end. After this, they still have Jackson Dart at quarterback, but when you're without your top two weapons for him in Cam Skattebo as well as Malik Neighbors, it's looking very unlikely that the Giants do anything for the rest of the season. Plus the fact that the Giants, their next 5 opponents, have a combined record of 25-11-1 this season. Just crazy stuff that really the Giants can't get through that. And in the end, you say, all right, you bow down. It's the end of the season. You move on to next year. The big question for John Mara, it is a tough decision in the end, what he's going to do with Brian Daboll and Joe Schoen. I don't know how you could fire a head coach or let go of a head coach in Brian Daboll at the end of this season after he had a season like this where it looked really optimistic for a couple of weeks in this season. Big wins over the Chargers and the Eagles, but he loses his top 2 weapons for his quarterback in Malik Nabers and Cam Skattebo. How can you fire Brian Daboll after a season like this? Now, if they have a couple of games like they did against Denver where they completely fall apart and blow it in the end, that's more on coaching, and you have to really make a decision based on that. But right now, if you're going into these next 5 games, you get blown out, your quarterback has looked solid so far and looks a little shaky, but really you can see the future in it. You really can't get rid of Brian Daboll in the end. So a tough decision for John Mara, but probably one that he's going to keep in-house till the end of the year. I think the Giants are really looking at the end of their season. They still have plenty of more weeks to fight before the bye week, and it's going to be tough as those next 5 games, like I said, are not going to be easy. They lose Cam Skattebo in this game, a dreadful loss to the Philadelphia Eagles, 38-20. Down in Philly. But let's finish things off today in the world of basketball as the New York Knicks are in action tonight. They take on the Milwaukee Bucks at 8 o'clock up in Milwaukee, and the Knicks come into this game as 1.5-point favorites, total sitting at 229.5. And this is an interesting game for the Knicks as, like I said, 1.5-point favorites on the road against the Bucks team that's pretty strong this year so far, as Giannis Antetokounmpo's got the guys rolling up in Milwaukee. They have a couple of wins this year, same record as the Knicks. They have a 2-1 record, and Milwaukee really looking for Giannis to step up once again for them, coming off of a 40-point game last time out. And the Knicks side, they're looking for injuries to not pile up heading into this one. A couple of game time decisions. Mitchell Robinson still out once again for this Knicks team. Karl Anthony Towns, a game-time decision. Gershon Yabusele is also a game-time decision, followed by Deuce McBride, who's a game-time decision as well. On the other side, Kevin Porter Jr. out right now for the Bucks after he got hurt in the first game of the season, and Gary Trent Jr. as well is a game-time decision along with Cole Anthony. It should be a great game for these teams, and we'll see what happens. But the Knicks, you're looking to really bounce back after a tough loss on the road in Miami, where it looked close for the most part, but then you got into the fourth quarter and Miami just completely went on cruise control, completely dominated the Knicks in the end, and the final score was really closer than it actually was midway through that fourth quarter. But the Knicks fall to Miami 115-107. Jalen Brunson had 37 points in the game. Karl Anthony Towns had 18 rebounds, but it wasn't enough on Sunday. They have to bounce back in a tough game on the road. One of the top contenders in the Eastern Conference this year. They take on the Milwaukee Bucks. It's 8 o'clock tonight. Make sure you tune in to that game later. But that will do it for episode 118 of the MudWatch Sports Podcast. Please subscribe below. I've been Zach Malum, and thanks for watching, and talk to you all on Thursday.